You in the shower too, eh?
I just got out, man. The shower thoughts are flowing.
That's what I'm saying. You know what that means, right?
Obviously, I know what it means.
It's time to shower the audience with these thoughts.
I'll meet you at the communal shower right now.
See you there, bud.
Alright, bless. Easy.
You almost clapped. I was about to lose it on you. I saw your hands go. I was like, if you mess up this thing, I will fight you.
Boom.
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 You always do the boom. Do you notice that? He always does the boom.
I don't, actually.
Well, now you know.
Now I know.
Boom.
I'll be looking out for that. Boom.
Boom. That means we're
boom.
it.
We're booming.
We're in it.
Hype.
We're back in the shower.
Welcome back to Shower Thought. Shower Thoughts. It's more than one thought.
Yeah, there's two of
It
us.
is. I'm Sharif.
I am Saf, and this is Shower Thoughts with Saf and Sharif.
And we have someone in the shower with us.
Yeah,
who's not a brown guy.
Yeah,
look at that.
Wild, actually.
Your skin is white. It's great.
Yeah, maybe a little too white.
There's no such thing, man.
No, my name's Louis.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty wild. I go
Great.
back.
Good stuff. That's all we gotta know.
That's it. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'll
see ya.
out of here.
To start off, you know how it is,
You
man.
know how it be.
You know how it be. We have 3 words.
3 words.
It's
All right.
1 question, 3 words, and then we want a 3-word answer.
1 question, 3 words.
Who is Louis?
Okay.
I would
3
say...
words. See, that's
Man,
3
they
words.
always do that. They always already use the 3 words before we get
Fun.
any information.
Fun.
We're done, right?
You're
That's
a
3.
fun
He's a fun guy.
I would say fun.
Energetic. Everybody always says that, but I am too energetic. And then I would say collected.
Oh,
Yeah,
I wanna
energetic
say-
but collected.
I want to say
That's a
that.
good combo.
Let's
Yeah.
start with collected.
All right.
What do you mean by collected?
Like I want to say I don't have, and this is what I was going to talk about today or come with you guys, and like it's about like mental health and all that kind of such. I went through that thing, and I have just like something better, and I'm looking at my past and now where I am now. I just feel that I'm a lot more kind of collected with myself, and I'm in tune with myself. So
Yeah.
that's what I think, at least when I say collected.
Dude, that's
But-
sweet, man.
Yeah,
And like
wild.
mindset makes a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. Like massive, absolutely massive.
Now, in terms of energetic, how so?
Like I don't sleep very much. I like to say
And
5
you have
hours.
high energy stuff?
5 hours is probably the amount I get, but then I wake
Oh.
up like not very much. Like 5 hours is still good, but like then I wake up at like 5.
But for like a swimmer, I feel like you guys need to sleep.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, I should sleep a lot more than that.
Yeah, man.
I don't, but
I've
I
been
should.
I've been training for a triathlon, and I was just telling you, I did
Yeah.
like a 1.8K swim,
It's wild.
buddy. I was, I was bed rest. I was on bed rest for the next 20 hours.
Yeah, it's just like a different kind of cardio. I think like running it, you can't transfer running into swimming. It doesn't work.
No, but you don't find that you need more than 5 hours of sleep.
Sometimes I think I need more, but if I'm just so naturally energetic that I kind of just
On that adrenaline
go
high all the time.
I'm just pumping, and then when I work out to kind of relax myself, and then I guess during the summer I'm just so dead from the pool. The pool 40 degrees.
True.
So I work at the pool. I'm a lifeguard, by the way,
Yeah.
with Saf.
I'm
So-
not.
Yeah, well, leave the saving, the guardian
Yeah.
of lives to
Yeah,
us.
you gotta save those lives.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really hot in there, so I'm just dehydrated and tired. So I think that's the kind of take away from my natural energy through the summer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And fun.
Fun.
He's a fun guy.
I like to
fun
play a lot of games, board games, video games, soccer, basketball. I just like to enjoy time with people.
Yeah.
I like to have self time. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I like to kind of just have fun,
Sweet,
play
man.
stuff.
Mm. I like that.
I like
Wild.
fun.
Yeah,
I
because
like
it's
fun.
creative fun too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You do seem like a good time. Whenever I'd see you and the boys talking in the Wicket, when you guys would come in for treatment, you guys always had stuff going on. And I would cry in a corner.
No, you were there when we were talking about that time stuff.
Oh, that times. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
We
had
had
our conversations.
We had sick conversations about time.
it's insane.
Fair, yeah.
Me and Louis had
We've had-
conversations too.
yeah.
Yeah, by the way.
No, man. He
No.
remembers that he brought that one up first.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
but he was just trying to make you feel
Okay.
comfortable.
We
We have lifeguard chats.
do.
Lifeguard on the break when we're not supposed to. Or no, we're allowed to.
We're allowed to. Yeah.
On the break. Yeah.
We sometimes have them when we're not supposed to.
No.
No,
if
we
you
don't.
are their
we don't.
employer and watching this,
Ronnie, I'm sorry.
Ronnie.
Oh, I know Ronnie.
Yeah. Okay,
No.
so you came. So what do you? Because you wanted to talk about some mental health stuff. And so, like, what kind of motivated you to want to talk about?
So at the start of the year, we had this for Bell Let's Talk Day. We had this open house.
Dude, I remember this.
Yeah,
you were
I
a part of
invited-
it.
I
You were on
invited
the
you.
panel.
I invited everybody on my friends list to it. But like whether you show up or not, it doesn't really matter. But like I was on the panel, and so I was one of the people presenting my story to like 40-ish so people. So it's like quite stressful. And it was my first time. Like I had told like 2 people, both family members, and I told a friend. But like this is my first time like releasing it to like a mass amounts.
Yeah.
So it was stressful, but like it was extremely like healing. I got to hear other people's stories. Because I still am like battling with depression. Like it's not a thing that goes away, right? You have to keep with it. And then I heard about a bunch of others. Like I did one with this other guy about toxic masculinity, my depression, his anxiety. And then we had another.
This was a podcast?
So this was like a open house. It's like so you come in for like 30 minutes, and like the 30-minute presentation will be either on like toxic masculinity, which is me and my partner, and then another 30 minutes was like an athlete like who had a food disorder or an eating disorder. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so like it's different. Like you hear about a bunch of different stories, and like it's not all similar, but there are also this girl who started off. She suffered from depression as well, but her story is like completely different than mine.
Yeah.
So like that's what I want to talk about, and like I think it's good to kind of have like different, not just like depression because depression's huge. Like a lot of people, it's like the clinical diagnosis. What is it, like 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
MDD, major depressive disorder. 2
Yeah,
weeks.
2 weeks. So like it's
At least 2 weeks presenting like several symptoms.
I'm sick of caps. Yeah.
yeah, and so like
I just did a test on this actually.
Actually, let me grab the mic.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
literally just drops on us. But no, so depression's like not, I wouldn't say like super common, but like it's probably one of the most common ones.
I bet you he knows a statistic and he's just fighting.
I feel like you
years
do
to
know
say
this.
it.
It's common.
Yeah, so I feel like it's good to kind of branch out in that. I want to talk about that, like differences and like how you cope with that, and also like toxic masculinity. I know it's not like talked about a lot in mental health, but it's like a huge problem that associates with it.
Yeah.
So like the link in that correlation.
For sure.
So that was the plan. So
Yeah.
Dude, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Sure.
good that
It's
you
a
have a
unique
plan.
topic.
We
Yeah, I know.
usually don't.
We don't.
So this
We rely on you.
We're
Yeah.
taking steps forward
Yeah.
for sure.
Awesome.
Someone
Just like-
literally said to me, they're like, "Oh, so you guys do nothing. You guys just let the guest make the topic, and you
Yeah.
guys do none of the work." I'm like, exactly.
In the
exactly
introduction, we straight up said we promise nothing but subpar
that. Yeah.
preparation.
Not
content.
average.
Not average. Will never be mediocre.
Just subpar.
I mean,
Because like being higher than average is too much work.
Mhm.
So,
But our guests, they're well
They're-
over it. Yeah.
yeah.
They're outstanding. So
But
they,
seriously, Louis, like, thank you so much for like being willing to open up about this
of course.
on this podcast, because we straight up agree. Like, part of the reason we started this podcast is there's some things that we think having guests talk about and just being open about it. Like when we had our first mental health podcast, people were reaching out going like, "Thank you for having." Like they were like, "I can't believe 3 guys got on a podcast and spoke about something like this."
Literally, yeah.
So, like, I thought it was super common because my friends and I are open about this stuff to each other, but apparently it's not. So this is a step in the right direction. So thanks so much for coming on the podcast and doing this, man. Thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
man, appreciate it.
And
Happy
thanks
to
for,
be here.
Yeah. Thanks for helping us diversify.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I was literally saying before to Louis, like, we've talked about mental health a couple times now, but I would talk about it like 100 times over because each person has their unique perspective, their unique kind of experience with it. And like if maybe one perspective or one experience is similar to someone else's that's listening, they can relate and like what you've gone through, what you've learned from it, you can share that information with other people.
Yeah.
And even what you were just saying about like oh, like that's so great that 3 guys came together and talked about mental health. Because going back to like the toxic masculinity thing, like guys really don't talk about their feelings much, or like maybe now more they do, but it was for a long time like guys weren't talking about their feelings, and I think me and Sharif talk about our feelings all the time.
Too much, I think.
Almost.
You and I.
Wait, I know too much.
You and I, like,
yeah,
it's dangerous.
Yeah. We're in the shower together right now. It just doesn't get closer than that.
You gotta be close like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, trust me. Like, sometimes when there's no guests and we're in the shower together, like, it's too close.
Whoa. Okay, all right.
But I think they like it.
As in, like, we just get a smaller room. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
because,
no,
like,
just
we don't
cut
need
it in
all the
half.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Close.
But your journey, you say it's a constant process, which I totally agree. A lot of people say is that I battled depression and I'm over it.
Yeah.
But, like, the more people I talk to, I realize it's a constant process. So where did your journey start?
In my first year, I would say. So in my first year, like, you have that whole, like, frosh week, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just, like, kind of socializing and, like, meeting new people. Yeah. And so I never thought...
When did you start?
I'm in my 3rd year now.
So your class
Class of 2020.
So you would have started...
I'm class 2020.
Frosh was 2016.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha. So I was just hanging out, having a good time, and then, like, I had a really close friend that, like, I was really close with, and we had this huge, like, fight, and then we kind of just... She's like, was like, yeah, I'm done with... Because I was being an idiot. Like, I was young and, like, immature, and, you know, you make mistakes, and, like, you learn from them, and that's what I realized. Like, I made the mistake, I lost a friend, and then that's, like, what triggered it. So it's not like it caused it, like, they're the reason that I, like, got into that state, but, like, it triggered that kind of feeling. And, like, constantly for, like, two years. Like, it wasn't bad the first year. I went through first year and, like, did all the work and, like, swam, and I was like, okay, it's good. I mean, I don't feel, like, the best, but I'm sure every university student feels like this, right? Like, I hear all these stories, because I have, like, 3 brothers, all went through university, or one's going with me, 2 have gone through university, and they're like, yeah, like, it's normal for you to feel, like, kind of stressed out and down about, like, grades and stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay. And my second year hit, and then, like, that was kind of bad. I had a poor year in swimming. I got concussed, actually.
In first year?
In my second year.
Second year.
Yeah. And so I got concussed, and then I actually concussed the previous guest, Emily Ma.
You bumped into her.
Yeah, so that was my fault, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
did you both get concussed from the same hit?
Yeah, I concussed her as well, yeah.
Were you guys, like, lane swim and...
No, it was like it was a race, and I know it was a sprint 50, so, like, there and back.
Yeah.
And I went, there's supposed to be a lane rotation, so you're supposed to go down the middle, back to the side.
Yeah.
And I just, like, went the opposite way. And I was going full out sprint. She was as well. She was right behind me, so it's just
They say swimming is a non-contact sport, but it really isn't. Like,
dude, I was lane swimming yesterday at LA Fitness, and
it's scary.
Like, it's scary. Like, because I was you guys' field therapist for a year, hearing this story, I remember hearing this. I think someone else got concussed a similar way or something. Yeah. But, like, I was swimming, my neck was killing me because I kept looking up. I'm like, I don't want nobody bumping into my head when I'm training for this thing.
Yeah, especially when you're going as fast as these guys go.
Like, dude, this guy is quick. I remember the first time I saw you swim, I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah. So imagine running into that full speed ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have a soft head.
Well, now it is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, now it is.
That's got a dent in it.
But yeah, no. So I had a concussion, and I was out of the season. And, like, that was a toll. Because at that point, like, when you're concussed, all you can do is kind of sit in, like, a dark room and listen to something. Like, that's pretty much what you can do. I mean, you can watch television if it's, like, not too bad. But what I did to, like, really recuperate and, like, try to get back in the season, because that was the main goal, get back in the season.
Because it's part of your identity.
Yeah, right? Like, I'm a swimmer, and, like, I need to swim. I couldn't see myself not swimming. And so I was like, I need to get back. And I'm concussed for, like, 2 weeks. I'm sitting there, like, have you guys watched Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
Yeah. Lord of the Rings.
That's fine if you haven't.
I haven't.
Yeah. So, like, I'm a little nerdy, but that's all I listen to. I just listen to, like, all the stuff about those kind of things. And just sat in my room and, like, slept, and then I got back and I realized how much I love swimming. But then, like, when you're by yourself and you're concussed and only listening to something, like, it's you and your thoughts, and, like, it's a lot of deep thoughts.
Yeah.
So that kind of happens, and then second year got a little worse. I had some moments where, like, I'll tell you about one. I was, like, the bleachers by the rugby fields, you know those ones?
Yeah.
Like, sat there for, I don't know, couldn't even tell you the time. just bawling my eyes out listening to XX Tentacion.
Yeah.
I mean, I know his songs are like he like himself as an artist isn't that good, but like he has some pretty sad songs. So I was listening to sad songs. I was like, this is so sad. Oh my god, I'm just crying. Never thought I'd be the person to do that.
Yeah.
Never at all. And a dog came and cheered me up. That's like a very vivid.
Man.
The dog.
Yeah, this woman was walking her dog. She didn't ask me how I was, which is unfortunate. But the dog came up to me and started licking me, so that was fun.
That's
But
that's the best thing that could ever happen.
yeah. So
Holy.
therapy dogs, they work.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah. So there's that, and third year, I had like a slight like
Are you back in swimming at this point?
yeah like
How long were you out? Like
I was
concussed?
for concussion. I was out for 2 weeks.
You couldn't swim for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that was like such a powerful point of view.
Yeah, like I can like remember most of the days where I'm just like thinking about like myself as a person. Like I remember this one thought going through my head like constantly. It's like you've ruined your season, but on top of that, you've also ruined Emily's season.
Yeah.
So like there were a lot of thoughts going through my head. Like it was a lot of like self-inflicted, I want to say.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of people have some other things going on, but for me, it was a lot of self-inflicted stuff. And I got to a point in my third year. You met me. There's a Western meet, so I almost passed out. I had this like meet.
That's when you and I first got like somewhat close.
You're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, just make sure you're walking around with me.
I followed him literally for the rest of the day.
Yeah. You're like, want some water? I'm like, I'm good. I'm
He was
good.
like, dude, leave me alone.
Yeah, it was funny though. So I had my
you were
personal
being nice
assistant.
about it, even though I know you were like kind of like, this isn't that serious. Just leave me alone.
Yeah. So it was nice. I had my personal assistant. But like on that bus ride back, like the main thing that I was sad about was because the rookies. I'm in my third year. I'm supposed to be a role model. And like I myself am telling people you have to go. And when you feel like you don't want to go more, you go. And I'm telling people that. But in that race, I couldn't do that. And so like I was really sad about that. Because then again, this like self-inflicting thought came on. And like very, very like depressed. I remember I was just crying on the bus ride and I had like my sweater over my face because like I didn't want anybody to see me.
Yeah.
And it's like sad to say that, but I don't want anybody to see me cry because it's like kind of sad. And then I got booted off the swim team, which was like very bad. I'm not gonna go into details on that, but it was just like a very sad time for me. And then I realized I had told, on the bus ride back from Western, my brother messaged me. He's like, how are you? He's like, Queen's graduate, financial analyst in Toronto. And he's like, how are you? Like, how's swimming? And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like, and this is the first thing I said. I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like kind of bad. I don't know why. That's what I said to him before the meet. And then after the meet, I messaged him, and then I like, full story right there.
Yeah.
Sent it all. I never vocalized it, but it was so good to send that. And he was telling me, he's like, you should tell mom. And I was like, I don't want to tell mom. She's going to be so bad. Like, not mad at me, but like, you know, to the point that she's like, not proud of having a son that's like that.
Yeah.
But
what did you think she was not going to be proud of? Which part of it?
like, she hypes me up a lot. And she hypes up a lot of like my brother who I was talking to. So she likes to talk about us a lot. And she likes us achieving stuff. And like I wasn't making times. My grades weren't like that good in second year. They were dropping. So like I was lying about my grades. I was lying about my times as well. But she could tell. Like she would know. She can check.
Yeah.
And then like I got to the point where I was like, I don't know. I don't want to like. I want to be like make her proud. I don't want to be like the like son who needs like care or needs to take care of. And so like that's what I thought. But then I told her and like weight lifted off my shoulders. And I did that Balance Talk open house. Insane, like weight completely off, and it's all about talking about it. And that's why it's so good. Even now, like I mean, I was on the verge of tears, but no, I'm not. And like it's good to talk, and I can not get emotional and talk about it, which is good. That's what I like, because like it's hard to get to that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me.
That's quite the journey, man.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, but what I wanted to do is, do you guys want to comment about yours? I don't know. Or can I?
Yeah, I mean,
I will get into this thing then. So I want to talk about this food disorder, because eating disorders, because those are also like mental health issues. And when we talk about mental health, we talk about it as like, oh, you have a mental like health issue, like you're depressed. It's an issue. It shouldn't be considered an issue, because when you're talking about mental health, you can have poor mental health, you can have good mental health.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like You are
True.
clinically diagnosed with depression, but you can still have, or you're not clinically diagnosed, but you can still have poor mental health and still be affected by that, right?
100%.
Because you don't have like symptoms that classify you under one of the diagnoses. You might have something that's not diagnosable, but like it's considered poor.
Exactly. Yeah. So you still may have that. And then there was like, we're talking about food disorders, and this girl, and she went through this. I never thought it'd be this insane. So I was like, oh, eating disorder, like you just don't eat. But like they go in hospitals, and like you know how in normal hospitals you'd have doors, walls. There may be like a window where you can see like the patient. And there's no walls, all windows, like all glass. And there's the nurses just like constantly watching you.
Yeah. Just
Like
making sure that you
well, yeah.
are okay. And
I'm gonna ask you like, what do you think that would be when it comes to like privacy and like, do you think you would feel kind of judged?
Dude, I would hate that.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of being watched. Like, I hate the idea, like, even at work, I hate when my supervisor's there, my boss is there. So, like, I can't imagine having my life monitored for 24 hours. I did a sleep overnight, like a, I forget what it's called. I know, a sleep clinic to get my sleep checked out for a night. It was so weird knowing there were cameras in there, that, like, everything was being monitored. So, I can't imagine being watched like that. I just feel like I'm not human anymore. Because I feel that's part of freedom, being able to pick who's watching you and who's not. And like the thing with food disorders is some people are under the age of 18.
Yeah, like there's some kids that
So
are
it's not their choice
like
to be
14.
there. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I think from like the healthcare perspective, like I think it's a safety thing.
Yeah,
Like,
for
they're-
sure.
Like for sure, like I understand why they're there.
Yeah, but like the feel like it should be better communicated that like it should be communicated to whoever's in that situation that this is the reason and like they understand and they're on the same team kind of thing. Because it's hard. It is I can't imagine what it's like to be on the other side of
Oh yeah,
being
me
a
neither.
patient in
I just heard about that.
any scenario, right? Being a patient is such a different experience.
Yeah.
Especially when people are looking at you, like 10 people come and check on the same thing, like feel like you're a specimen or something like that. But it's the communication part of like, okay, like we are here on your side trying to figure this out with you.
Like I still say, do it for like the help and long term benefit, but short term, of course, you could feel like some of your rights and
100%.
privacy is being violated. But
Yeah.
long term, obviously, like what Saf said.
So yeah, she went in. I remember she showed this this slideshow because we all had slideshows for our presentation. She showed this slideshow and it was like a picture of her before she was like diagnosed with her like eating disorder, and then after she came out of the hospital. I think it was like 2 weeks, 2 week difference. And it was like her face, like just a zoom shot of her face in like a track photo or like some team photo. I don't even know. And you could like tell it's just like the smile, like you can tell a fake smile.
Oh, 100%.
Like if I'm just smiling, like
Yeah.
that's fake. Like you need to have a genuine like smile to be in a picture, and you can tell. And there's a picture of her before in like a photo, and then a picture of her after the hospital, and she looked like after the hospital, she may have looked like a lot like maybe like better, like in terms of like her size
Physically?
and physicality. But her like mentally, and you saw on her face, you'd be like, wow, like you look happier. Like you look a lot happier. And it's crazy, like to think that's also like a thing with poor mental health. Like you're getting constantly watched. She was telling me, like she would get watched when she goes to the washroom, watched when she goes outside for like a walk, sitting on the bench. Like nurses everywhere.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So that's like one aspect. Like it's also poor mental health with food disorders. I think that's important to kind of get across. So that was one of the topics. Another was anxiety. Do you guys know anybody with anxiety?
Yeah.
Have they talked to you about it?
I've actually experienced it pretty lately. One of my close friends, we were just hanging out, and all of a sudden we were driving, and she just leans over and starts crying, going, like, "Can you pull over? I need like a hug." And she just starts balls out crying over something that happened like a while ago. But like for me, I'd never experienced it, so seeing it was just like, okay, this is it. And like it's hard being like, are you serious? Like your first instinct is like, what? This is foreign to me. This is weird. But then you go like, what about all those things I've heard about and all that promotion of mental health awareness and kill the stigma kind of thing. And I sat there and like just hugged her, listened to her talk about it. And even though it was something that I know happened a while back, and even she started bringing up stuff that was so much small scale, like it's not that important to someone with good mental health. But you had to realize that there's an imbalance going on, and there's something that needs to be addressed. It's not just this person is exaggerating. There's like an actual health, there's actual like poor mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, that was like a bit. This was like super recent too.
Yeah, I had one my first time in my first year with anxiety. I'll tell you about that.
Yeah, but I was just so. It was honest. Like I'm lost for words as to how I felt about it. It was just seeing someone open up to me and be that vulnerable to me about it. I'm grateful that they were comfortable with me that way, but it taught me so much, because you can talk about it all day, but until you experience it and see the nature of it, you're just like, okay, I get it way more now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've had a couple experiences with people that are really close to me. Like in high school, I was really close with this person, and like anxiety and depression kind of go hand in hand a lot of the time. Like someone with depression has a higher risk of getting anxiety, and the same thing reverse. And they usually present together. So this person had depression, and they would also have like anxiety attacks that were exacerbated by the depression, basically. And so I was pretty close with this person, and I was there for a lot of these anxiety attacks for like a year or something like that, and witnessing it, and like but not understanding what was happening is such a hard thing to wrap your head around.
Yeah,
like it's happening, and like you're like what is happening? Like,
yeah,
like you were fine like a second ago, and now like everything is like crashing down, and you're like but it's like a very physiological response to like you're breathing heavy and you can't think and you have to breathe, and like it's scary on the other side of it when you watch it happen, because there's nothing you can really do either. Like there's people who are trained to like bring people down from anxiety attacks, and I started doing research on how to like do that, because I hated the feeling of feeling helpless, of like this person's going through like what it seems like a heart attack almost, and I'm just like sitting there like breathe, just try to breathe or something. And it's a scary thing to witness, and then, so I can't imagine what it's actually like to go through something like that, because like we've learned about it in school, but I've seen people go through it, and it just seems like
so different when you see it.
100%, yeah. Like you can read about it, but when you see it happen, you're like,
it's way different.
This is like they're having like a tornado inside of them, and you have no idea, and it's all like it shows you how much your mind is connected to your body, because when your mind starts like just getting really anxious about something and you go into like a full-on panic attack, like your whole body responds. You get the release of like adrenaline, and you get all of these like your body's like waiting for. So like how they explain anxiety attacks is that like it's your body thinking that there's a threat, and so your body goes into that fight or flight.
Yeah,
but there's no threat. There's zero threat, but your body's just like something's gonna happen, and you just start like cycling through it, and
and like fight or flight responses take a toll on your body. That's your body.
Oh yeah, it's like an aggressive reaction.
Yeah, that's your body like getting all these fuels ready, going like we're outrunning a bear right now.
That's it.
Or we're about to like climb a mountain. You're about to pull yourself off a cliff because you're gonna die. Could you imagine like recruiting all that energy constantly, depending on how bad the anxiety is? Like I literally did not know what was going on. I had heard about it, and it took me a while to realize that this was an anxiety attack. But honestly, just lost for words after seeing it, even though I'd heard about it so much. And I can't imagine what it's like. Like, that was the one time I saw it.
Yeah.
And she's told me she has them constantly, and I'd hear about it and be like, obviously, I'm like, okay, this is something we need to address. This is something that you need to work on. Like, it's something that you shouldn't have, and we should work more towards positive mental health for her, but that's up to her for sure. But when I finally saw it myself, I was like, wow, every time she told me she was having an anxiety attack, this is what was happening, like at this magnitude. I was just, I don't even know what to
It's
say.
shocking, yeah. I know I have a friend who also suffers from anxiety, and she was also part of the panel, and she was talking about it. She had 2 pictures up, and she said, this is a person who doesn't suffer from anxiety, and it's just a regular person driving a car, no traffic. And then she said, this is a person who suffers from anxiety and like may be having an anxiety attack behind the wheel, and it's literally the same person in a snowstorm, like windshield wipers broken, like traffic, lightning, like all this crazy stuff, like windows smashed. That's what it feels like.
Stressing me out just hearing that.
Yeah, and so like it's such a great analogy because it really puts it into perspective, like how insane they're, like not how insane, it's the wrong word to use, but like how their mind is really processing
the
the
magnitude
experience,
of
right?
the experience for them. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think it's wild. And like she was talking about communication, because she's telling me, she's like, a lot of the time people come up to me and they say, I get it, but like you don't, and she's like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You don't, because you don't, like, so I can say as much as I want to say, like, I get like eating disorders, I get that, I haven't suffered through it myself, and like even if I say I like get depression, I can't say that because like mine is not the same as yours.
Yeah, different.
Right? And so she's telling me, you don't get it. And communication is all about saying, oh, like, can you please explain? I would like to understand how you feel and how you are in this moment, and like whether I can do something to help you and how you feel, and whether you would like me to listen or something, right? It's those type of like questions that should be kind of going, because that's the main thing with, I talked to like a few people with anxiety, and that's the main problem they have, is people just like not being able to communicate with them. And that's also with toxic masculinity is a thing. Like people don't have the context, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to you. I remember last podcast I watched with you guys talking with, I don't know who came, the first mental health podcast. Mo, he came in. You guys were talking about like you being like Egyptian and like not being, your parents not understanding, and like maybe like being foreign and not understanding, right? And that's it. Like I remember that I've had recent people come up to me, and I myself was part of toxic masculinity. And it's like you've been told and grown up to not cry and be a man, and like you should feel this way, you should look this way, you should be like a dominant figure, I guess.
Yeah.
Or like you shouldn't show emotion.
Alpha male,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the point. And I was watching these like huge campaigns, like Howie Mandel's so massive on this. And he talks about like men should be able to cry. And I watched this video. It's like a men should let's cry campaign. I don't know. And it had like a bunch of different like races, like one from, I don't know, just a lot of different people. And, and so they're just all like crying. And it's sad. It's a sad thing to say. They're all crying, but like it's so strong. Yeah, and it's like a natural, because then you see it's like it's okay to cry, like it hurts, but it's okay. And you see at the end, it's the same, one of the guys who was crying in the video, he's like tearing up, but it's like after you cry, you know, when your eyes are like watery and red, he's like smiling and like laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like what it comes across, because you want it to not feel like it's always a sad topic.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to talk about it and then feel good that you've released that, because I know for me, when I release it, it feels good.
Oh, 100%.
All building up emotion and like feeling like that, it's just overwhelming. When I was explaining my story, because I have it all written down on my computer, I think everyone want me to tell you guys about it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
man.
it's like I remember writing it down. It's like a tsunami just like overtaking you, and it's just crazy because you just get like this mass, like from this feeling in your head, you just get this wave of just like, I feel awful. So it's great. Like toxic masculinity is insane, and it's awful as a thing, but it's something that like needs to be progressed past.
Yeah.
I know with my kids, before I went through my kind of, I wouldn't say phase, but like when I realized it was there. Before that, I would have told my kids probably be like, be a man, like don't be that wimpy. But now I'd be like, okay, like it's okay, like express your emotion. Yeah. It's okay to do that.
Express and control, like do it controlledly.
Exactly.
Like, if you don't express it, you burst.
Yeah.
And like I would consider myself lucky. I don't think I ever had the toxic masculinity pressure from my parents or my household. So I grew up knowing that crying was okay in my house. Like my dad would never be like, guys don't cry. And like that way I was comfortable crying at home. But outside in school in front of my friends, that was more the
Source.
okay, I gotta watch my emotions. I gotta make sure I hold it in me and not cry. Like, I gotta come off as masculine, and like, especially as someone who grew up getting bullied through like grade 5 to 7. Like, that was a no-go. Like, I'm not crying in front of people. I don't need to look weaker than I already do. But the truth is, the times, looking back at it, the times that I have cried were just so beautiful and pure. Like, there's something so pure and beautiful about being able to express your emotions, and so relieving. Like, now that I'm older and have this experience of the times I've held it in versus the times I let it out, I can honestly say that sometimes I'll be like, I feel terrible right now. I just need a good cry. Like, for me, it's almost like a form of rehab, or a form of like relieving that built up pressure. It's like cathartic, basically, is the word I'm looking for. And I don't know, it's just something so beautiful about it. And when you see someone cry as well, and seeing them be vulnerable in that way in front of you, just lets you bond with them so much closer. I think there's a reason for every natural process, and there's a reason men can cry too. I have no shame saying I've cried watching The Notebook, like several times. Not even the first time I watched it. I'll see it for the 4th time and I'll freaking cry. And sometimes I'll be the times I felt really passionate about someone. Like, I will tell them how much I love them, and like tears will come down my face. And I have no shame admitting that, because the truth is, if we want to see that change, like, guys have to be open about it. Like, I'll freaking cry.
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Do it right now.
Come on.
I can't.
I dare you to cry.
But I was literally like, because I'm leaving in 2 days, going to like doing some traveling before coming back for 2 days and moving to Ottawa. So it's like saying some of the goodbyes, which is why I was late. Not that I'm ever late.
No, you're always perfectly on time.
But like, I was saying bye to some of my friends that I wasn't going to see again until I moved to Ottawa, and like, I had tears running down my face. I have no shame saying it, and they're like, "Damn, man's crying." I'm like, "Yeah, I am.
Heck yeah, I am.
I am."
It's something to be proud of. Like, it's a beautiful moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows that you care.
You should take
100%,
pride.
yeah.
You shouldn't take pride in being able to control your emotions, thinking that's more masculine. You should take pride in being confident in expressing your emotions.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that too, man. That was pretty
Yeah,
deep,
that was
man.
good.
pretty
That was
deep.
good. That was really good.
Yeah, I know. I think it's it shows other people, like you're saying, how much you care. But I think, like, all emotion is natural. Right? Like, all emotion that you feel is natural. And I think sadness, or feeling a sense of loss, or feeling a sense of that, like, that's something that isn't associated with being masculine. But something like anger is associated with being masculine, right? Like, guys are angry all the time, or like, guys are, just always roiding out or something.
Caveman.
Yeah, exactly. So then guys, like, sometimes don't control that. Instead of controlling their, like, they control their sadness, but they don't control their anger.
Yeah.
So, like, I think, like, that, there's like a paradox there. Like, why control one emotion and not the other? Like, I think anger can negatively affect people. Sadness sometimes is just something that, like, you naturally feel. And if you bottle up anger, if you bottle up sadness, like, both of them will, like, eventually explode and overflow. Yeah. So I think you have to, like, let things out in a healthy way, right? So, like, letting sadness out in a healthy way is different than letting it out, and bottling it up and allowing it to build inside of you, and then you start, like, using bad outlets, or you kind of start spiraling or something like that. I think that becomes a problem. But if you are expressing your emotions in a productive way that's either productive to you or productive to other people around you, then I think that's a much better way to express that. So, like, crying in front of your friend, that's one thing. But if you were, like, say you were angry, you wouldn't, like, start screaming at your friend because you want to express your emotion, right? Like, there's healthy ways to do it. Same thing with sadness. Like, it's not healthy to get a bottle of vodka and drink it and cry all night. Like, that's also not healthy, right? So it's finding healthy outlets for your emotions. And like you were saying before, like, talking about it is one of the best outlets you could find, really. Or, like, swimming, or, like, doing something that you love. Like, that's what we talked about last time with Shiv. and Mo, like finding something that's kind of motivate you to like to keep going, and but also like to get your emotions out of you. So like going back to like you kind of went through this like downward spiral, and then you somehow made your way back up. And I know you said you talked about it, like Bell Let's Talk and like stuff like that. Is there like other like? Can you speak more to that? Like, what kind of helped you climb out of that? Because I think, like, I always ask
what was the uphill? What triggered the uphill? Is that what you're trying to ask?
Basically.
Self-realization. Realizing that it was there. And
that
it's a thing.
time sitting and hearing yourself?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't think this is actually what is happening to most people. It's coming to the realization that maybe there is, like, something there. And so when I got to that point, I was like, yeah, maybe I don't feel that good. And then again, told them. And then after that, it was just me being able to release my emotion. For me, it's like a lot of me, it's bottle. Like I bottle up, I feel awful. I feel awful. Like, I'm not saying it. I feel awful on some days. It still comes along. But I'll ring up my housemate and talk to him.
Have you gotten diagnosed?
I've never been clinically diagnosed. But like with the clinically diagnosis, I would be clinically diagnosed. Like I think I would say it was a solid a year and a half, almost 2 years. Of that kind of jazz.
Why haven't you, if you don't mind me asking, like gone to like talk to a medical professional about it?
Sorry, why haven't I?
Yeah, just out of curiosity.
I just like it's feeling comfortable with who you're talking with. Yeah. Me myself, I don't feel comfortable talking to a professional. Mm-hmm. I don't like talking to a stranger. Yeah, it makes me very uncomfortable. Yeah, but like I talk to my best friend. Yeah, and so that
takes a lot of courage. Still,
exactly, and like it's who you're comfortable talking with. This girl, I was talking, the same girl from the panel, she talks about how she talked to multiple professional people. The first two didn't work, but the third one is perfect. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's finding the right person, right? Yeah. I know people who...
Dude, and if it works, it works.
Exactly. And if you can't find that person, they're not always available. There are constant helplines going across, which is, like, a secondary option. Mm-hmm. You know? Like, you can also talk to them. Yeah. So that's how... I didn't use helplines, but I used my friends and my family to support me through that. And I did go see professional help a couple times, but it just wasn't for me. So
yeah, there's like a treatment that we learned for depression and for kind of any kind of mood disorders. There's like three kind of like schools of thought. The first one, like that you always try to do, is changing your lifestyle, basically, and like finding support systems within your just regular life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Before you search for like medical professional help, before you search for like any medication or anything like that, it's like first you have to try to change your kind of how you live your life.
Dude, I love that.
And surround yourself with people who will add to your life and who are there to actually listen to you. Because what you were saying before of like, oh, I get it, like people don't actually get it. I think there's a difference between empathy and sympathy. Yeah. Right? You can't sympathize with someone when you haven't gone through what they've gone through. Mm-hmm. But you can empathize for them. You can say, you know what, like, I can't imagine what that's like. Like, I've never been through it. I can't imagine what it's like.
Let me understand.
Not even that. Let me be there for you. Yeah. Like, I'll listen to everything you have to say. I will say, man, that sucks. And I will be there to give you a hug. But I'm not going to, like, give you advice because I don't know. I've never been through this. I'm not going to, like, tell you what's right, what's wrong. I'm going to tell you, you know what? Like, I care for you and I'm here for you. I think that is what empathy is. Sympathy would be the wrong thing of, like, oh, I know what you're going through. You should do this. You should do this. Try this. Because at one time, I was sad for a day and I did this. Like, right? Like you were saying, you don't know what you're going through, especially if you're going through it for a year and a half. That's a lot different than if you're going through it for a couple weeks or something like that, right? Yeah. So I think finding people who know how to empathize and also empathizing like yourself is a good practice thing to kind of build your own empathy. And I think like that should always be the main focus. So I know people say like, oh, seek professional help like immediately, but I think the first step should be like kind of talking to at least one person who really truly cares and just going from there. Like that's mostly what you need, because professional help, mostly what they do is they ask you questions and they make you think about things that you don't usually think about. They just know what questions to ask, right? And then the next step is like psychotherapy, and that's like a little bit deeper. But even then, like I've read on it and I like kind of understand the process of it. And the process is mostly just like finding, like acknowledging that there's a problem, and then finding like methods that help you relax. Exactly. and finding
so like, individualized to the person.
Techniques. Yeah, 100%. And then also like cognitive restructuring is what they call it. So like changing your perspective, changing how you think. Because like if you think like everything gives you anxiety, like going to school or what, everything gives you anxiety, then obviously like it doesn't matter how like good you are at meditating. Like you have to change how you think about stuff, and that's one of the hardest things probably ever to do. But it's a long process.
Dude, you dropped a lot of like really good information.
Really good, yeah.
The thing about the seeking help and what you said about how you're not comfortable with talking.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got to do what works for you.
Exactly.
Like, there's no one size that fits all.
Self-love.
And the other thing self-love. We always
Oh my
bring
God.
that up.
He's
love
a
it.
listener. He
He's a
listens.
listener.
I watch.
That's when you know. But what you said about restructuring, dude, so true. Because when we were talking about anxiety, it was the concept of perceiving things as a threat.
Mhm.
So once you stop perceiving them as a threat, you no longer have that trigger to go into fight or flight. So damn, man, you dropped a whole lot of wisdom.
Hey man, that's that PA knowledge. That's that PA fact.
Hit him with it.
Yeah. So I don't know, just to like kind of, we're gonna be wrapping up in a bit, but like your journey is such a cool journey.
Yeah.
I mean, not cool for you, I guess, but like it's
Yeah,
cool
I would
that
say it's
you're
cool.
it's cool that you're sharing it, and it's cool that you've gone through it because now
There's a lot to learn from it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a learning experience.
and now you can share what you've learned with other people, and I think that's huge, right? So what do you think, like, what's something that you would want to leave people with that are listening, who are maybe going through something?
Definitely find somebody bottling up, and it's an eruption. It's like a volcano. You can like let it can seep, or like a water bottle, you can open it and like pour it. But if you shake it up in like a Coca-Cola bottle, it'll like blow up, right?
Oh.
So you don't want to get to that point, and you need to kind of release it. And it's okay to just cry in front of somebody,
Mhm.
And that's what it is. Find somebody to talk to, release all that emotion, and then hopefully, if it doesn't work out, find other methods. If it does, then you're
Stick
laughing.
to it.
Yeah, stick to it.
Mhm.
So that's the last wisdom words.
Love
Dude,
it, man.
I can't thank you enough for
No.
opening up about
Yeah.
that,
No
man.
sweat, no sweat.
That was... There's a lot to be learned from that story. My question, though, is that person you said you lost in first year,
Yeah.
that triggered that. What is your like perception of the situation at the time that you think led to it being negative? Because you said, I don't blame the person.
I was like, no, I would say a toxic friend. I was a toxic friend in my high school to her. And then like at that point, she left, and then I couldn't realize that I was being toxic. I just like couldn't understand.
So is that self-blame?
Yeah. And so like, and it's also just like, I couldn't see the bigger picture. I couldn't like see that I can't control somebody else. I can't make you do something that you don't want to do, right? And so that's the moment. I'm reconnected with them now, actually.
Sweet.
We're friends again, which is sweet. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you take care of yourself. Self-love.
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
work out.
And so yeah, it's actually really good. And like I think I just had to think about, I can't change the way people think about me, but there's no need to like care about the way each individual person thinks about me.
Yeah.
I'm myself, and if I care about myself and love myself, then
Love that.
I like it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. Dude, Louis,
Like, just
thanks so much
Yeah,
for
no
that, man.
worries,
yeah,
no
man.
worries, no
I
worries.
love it. Like that's so much like good stuff there. Like that, it makes me think about a lot of stuff too. Like it opens my mind a little bit. So that's thank you. Yeah, thank you a
No
lot.
sweat, no sweat.
And it's the people you least expect. Like, I do see you as a fun, energetic guy,
Yeah.
and I would have never known your story
Mhm.
unless you came up. And, dude, this is a story of hope. Promise anyone that's seeing this stuff or listening to this podcast is that everyone goes through it.
Mhm.
And most people go through it. Most people have had a phase of poor mental health, if not being diagnosed with a medical, what am I thinking? Mental disorder.
Yeah.
So much to learn from it. Thanks so much for this, man.
No worries, man. Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
So yeah, we are on YouTube. You can watch this video. You can see Louis' beautiful face.
Watch it.
And Sharif's subpar face.
Subpar.
And or you can listen to this on the Apple iTunes podcast app. We are on Soundcloud. One day we will be on Spotify.
Don't look at me.
Sorry.
How about you work on it, boy?
I'll do it. I'm done school-ish now, so I'll start helping out. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe.
Instead of going to Costa Rica.
Okay, there, Egypt, buddy. Alright, so yeah. Other than that, comments like again, like we love hearing stories. If you guys have your own story, your own experience that you want to share, you think people would benefit from it. Like people will benefit from every story. So if you have one, please just reach out to us. Message me, Sharif, or Shower Thoughts Podcast.
Yeah, DM us on Instagram at Shower Thoughts with SS. Saf's been doing really well posting small clips of each video, so I'm curious to see what clip you post from this one.
Yeah.
So a lot of really good points.
It's hard. It's one of the hardest things to do. Like finding a good.
Shut up, man. He's
It's
just trying to say he
so
puts
hard,
in more
man.
work than
Yeah.
me. That's
I
what
put-
he's saying.
I take hours and hours just scrolling through videos. I'm like, man, what's the best clip? And they're all just fire clips.
Oh, man.
All right, man.
Okay, guys. Thank you for showering with us.
Thank you,
see
Louis.
Yeah,
thank
sweat.
you, Louis.
You're
Real
the
one.
best.
Anytime.
Shampoo's on you next time, as always.
As always.
Let's switch it up though. We want that Senora Jayatanga.
Yeah.
Shampoo.
Sunsilk style,
Yeah, that
baby.
J hair. We want that. Sunsilk, baby. Okay, guys. See ya.
Bye.